Hello, welcome to Miss Peepers Reading Corner. I'm Katrina, aka Miss Peepers, and hanging out not at all awkwardly behind me is Baroness T'Challa von Schnoodle. If you watched my last video, you'll know I've got a stack of books that I want to get through before the end of the year. October was a bit of a low reading month for me. I had a lot of activities, had a lot of fun. Of course, we had our banned book series, and I just had a lot going on. So I did not read as much as I normally do, and we are gonna make up for that. So this week, Mr. Peepers is out of town. I've got the place to myself. It's just me and the cats. I do have to work this week, but when I'm not working, I'm on my own. So what I've decided to do for this week is roll a die for each day to see how long I should be reading. Got my D&D dice right here. We're gonna roll a 4-sided die for the weekdays because I'm working this week, and we'll roll a 6-sided die for the 2 weekend days to see how many hours I'm committing to reading. So, cut to the die roll. 3 hours, okay. That's not a long time. I can do that. I have with me a timer, a bookmark timer. These are pretty inexpensive and easy to find online. And it's pretty handy for something like this, or if you just want to see how much you're reading. So I set this to count down from 3 hours. Today we are reading Hood by Stephen R. Lawhead. It is a Robin Hood retelling, and it is set in the Welsh Forest. So as you can see, I have started this, but I'm only a chapter and I'm on page 19. It's good so far. I'm just scratching the surface, so haven't quite formed a full opinion yet. But I'm gonna do some reading and I'm gonna let you know what I think. Miss T'Challa. Hello, will you share my seat with me? Will you share me a seat? Let's try this. Oh. We don't have a good start to chapter 2. I don't know the relationship between these two people yet. The first chapter, so we're following a guy named Bran. First off, apologies in advance if I mess up any of the Welsh pronunciations, or rather when I do. We're following this guy named Bran, thinking the Robin Hood figure, because like he's a prince. Anyway, he's our main character, and what we've learned so far is that he, in just the prologue in the first chapter, we've learned that he's not terribly responsible and doesn't take his princely duties very seriously. We're starting chapter 2 on not a great note, in that we've been introduced to the character Marianne, and he asks her for a kiss, which is fine, and she says, "No, away with you," and he is insisting on a kiss. "If my father finds you here, he'll flay us both. Go now before someone sees you. A kiss only, I swear." Dude, she said no twice. Now, I don't know what their relationship is yet, so it could be a playful thing if they've got that kind of relationship, but we're just seeing them together for the first time, and I don't love it. I'll be back. About half an hour in, and I've read maybe 16 pages, which doesn't feel like a lot. I don't know, impressions so far, I'm still getting into the characters a bit. I usually give a book about 40 pages to catch my interest, and we're close to that. We've also been introduced to a number of characters. So we have Bran, who's our Robin Hood character. He's courting a woman named Marianne. Bran is a prince. Marianne is the daughter of a lord. Like I said in the last clip, I'm not really sure what their relationship truly is, if it's one-sided, if it's a fling. It's hard to say. And then we've got this Baron Neufmarché. Anyway, Neufmarché lives in England, and he is trying to put together an army so he can march into Wales and grab some land. So I see where this is going, knowing the Robin Hood story, that my guess is that Neufmarché is going to sweep in, take over the land that belongs to Bran's family. Bran is going to run into the woods and then eventually fight his way back in the guerrilla warfare style of Robin Hood and his merry men. And then Marion is probably going to get caught in the middle. I don't know. It's not bad, but it's not gripping me yet. I think some of it is just that we're still kind of ramping up a bit. I did, though, find that in the back there is a pronunciation guide for the Welsh. And so, as far as I can tell from consulting this guide, the main character is Bran ap Brichon. So I'm going to do my best to consult this guide to pronounce the names of people and places accurately as best I can. Again, if you speak Welsh and I'm mangling it, I do apologize. It is not intentional, but maybe I'll be a little bit closer now that I've got this. So let's read a bit more. I do have my reading buddy right here, T'Challa. Let's do some more reading. All right, I'm about halfway through my 3 hours and I just finished page 66, which is the end of chapter 6. This is an almost 500-page book. It's picking up. It is picking up. So where we are right now, at the very beginning of the book, so this is not a spoiler, this is actually chapter 1, Bran's father has taken a war band to go from Wales to London to petition the king for his protection and basically swear fealty to the King William. Well, on their way, the warband is ambushed and everyone is killed. One soldier, Ewan, who is also the king's champion, has escaped. And the only reason that Bran, the prince, has survived is that he was late. So he's running to catch up with his father and the party when he meets Ewan coming back the other way and finds out about the massacre. So Bran and Ewan go to get help, and ultimately they decide that they need to go to London so that Bran, who is heir to the throne and is technically king now, can finish what his father started and petition the king for protection. So anyway, so thus far it's just kind of been walking through the woods. There's a battle at the beginning, pretty decent action. So I've got to say that Bran has really come across to me thus far as whiny and entitled. It's picked up a tiny bit because now we're getting closer to London. I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break from reading for a moment. I will of course finish my last 90 minutes before I go to sleep. But I might read something else for a little bit. Yeah, I'm just not sure about this one yet. And now you're going to see me agonize over whether I should finish reading it or not. I will say overall, the books that I've gotten from the Mysterious Packages have been really good. I've enjoyed them a lot. I've actually only DNF'd one of them, so it might be 2. Am I giving it extra time because it's a Robin Hood story? I'm kind of a sucker for a Robin Hood story. What I think I'm going to do, I'm going to sleep on this one. So I have 3 books here. So The Good Earth, I think, is going to be a more serious, emotionally intense sort of story. So I might hold off on that until I've made a decision about this one. I'm thinking about what I should read at the same time as this, because this is also just a thick book. So the other two that I have are Cold Sassy Tree, which is, I'm losing the tabs that I set aside for this. It's Cold Sassy Tree, which is described as entertaining and moving. It's an account of small town Southern life in a bygone era. I hope this will be good, but it seems like it might have more serious content just given the time period. Or if it doesn't, it might have content that I'm frustrated is not handled differently because of the time period. I don't know which it is because I've never read this author before. So just to be really clear, I'm not making a judgment about it, but it's probably one or the other. So I might instead go with 3 Hours in Paris, just because this is clearly a thriller. I think it's going to be more of a fast-paced, fun read. So I might pick this one up next. They also match in they look nice next to each other, don't they? Two very different sorts of books, different similar color combos here. But so I might read some 3 Hours in Paris, but tonight, and then I'll let you know what I think of it, because this definitely has, thriller written all over it. Welcome back. It is Tuesday, so I did not finish reading until really late last night, so I did not give a video update. So let's start there. I read 58 pages. This book is really good. We're following a woman named Kate Reese, who is American but lives in the United Kingdom during World War II because her husband is Welsh, and her husband and her daughter die in a bombing, and she ends up taking a job with a clandestine government organization who want her because she is so good with a rifle. It is not a spoiler to say that her mission is to assassinate Hitler. The British intelligence service knows that Hitler will be in Paris at a particular time, on a particular day, and they send her in to shoot him. Now, this is historical fiction, and it is not an alternative history. We all know, or can easily verify, that Hitler was not assassinated in Paris in 1940. So we already know at the beginning that she's not going to be successful. But it's not so much about the assassination itself, but we're following this woman as she is on this spy mission, basically. She's not actually a spy. She was very hastily trained, but she has so much hate for the Fuhrer because of her family's death that she is ready to go to any lengths to stop him and stop the war. So for her, it's very personal. This book is quite fast-paced. It's entertaining. Kate is a very real-feeling character to me. She is not perfect. She is not some swashbuckling hero. There's a time and a place for swashbuckling heroes, don't get me wrong. We'll go back to the conversation about Robin Hood in a minute here. But she is a widow and the mother of a dead child, and she is just trying to do her part to get back at the person she sees as, well, the person who is responsible for their deaths. So where I am right now, I'm still pretty early on in the book. She has, in the very first chapter, so this is not a major spoiler, in the very first chapter, she has her opportunity to shoot at Hitler, and she does shoot a few times, but she misses. Because of circumstances outside of her control. He moves at the last minute kind of thing. And so now she is trying to get out of Paris without being caught. I definitely am going to keep reading this. I'm pretty excited. Let's cut to the die roll for today to see how long we are reading. 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour of reading. That actually works out pretty well because I have a video that is supposed to go up tomorrow and I haven't edited it yet. I did film it, but you don't want me to post it unedited. It's a mess. It's a rambly mess. Hopefully it will not be so much of a rambly mess by the time it gets to you. We shall see. Well, by the time you see this video, the other video will already be out. So I hope you enjoy it. Today is election day in the United States, and I voted. I did my part, but I'm avoiding watching the election coverage because I think it will only stress me out, but I also kind of want to know what's going on. Like, I want to know, but I don't want to know. We're going to try to calm the anxious brain. We're going to try not to think about it too much now. I'm going to set my timer for 1 hour. I'm going to keep reading this, at least for a little bit, because I ended on a cliffhanger. I'll read this for a bit until I feel like I'm at a good pausing point. I'm going to, at some point, give Hood a little bit more time, because last night when I finished reading it, it was starting to pick up a touch. We'll see. I might just like read a chapter or two before bed and see if it feels better to me. Yeah, we'll see. I think the issue for me is that in my mind, Robin Hood is this adventure story. It's a swashbuckling adventure story, right? I'm expecting it to be more actiony early on. And while we did open with a battle, I get that. But now it's like, all right, now we're on the road. We're on the road, we're camping. So we'll see. I really want to like this. We'll see. But let's spend some time in Paris in the 1940s. Okay, so one thing that I'm really enjoying about this book so far is that Kate is obviously our main character and we're following her for most of the book, but we're also switching perspectives periodically to a man called Günther Hoffmann, who is a German police officer, and Hitler has given him the task of finding the person who tried to assassinate him. And so obviously we're not rooting for Günther. We want him to fail at this assignment. But what I like about it is that he's not some like mustache twirling villain. He is like a full person. And of course, I'm not going to make any kind of apologies for anyone who commits atrocities or has committed atrocities in World War II or any other time. But a lot of the people in positions of power while Hitler was the Führer were just ordinary people who were in power before Hitler rose. So like who had those jobs before that. And so Günther, his whole thing is that there's a process, there are laws that need to be followed, that he has this job to do, and he knows that if he does not succeed, it will go very poorly for him. He also, it's commented at the beginning that he has lost some faith in the Führer the closer he gets to him, which I think is really interesting. It's a bit of, not sympathy per se, but it's a bit of like humanity added to this character. And he notes that because when he's given this job, he is told, oh yes, this is an honor that Hitler asked for you by name. And he's like, yeah, an honor. But he thinks privately to himself, this is a double-edged sword. If it goes well, great. If it does not go well, I'm screwed. So, of course, we do not want him to find Kate. We do not want him to succeed. But at the same time, he is a person. And I really like that because I feel like we have two opposing characters. We're following the perspectives of two opposing characters. And while one of them is definitely on the wrong side of history, that doesn't necessarily mean he's 100% evil. So yeah, I think that's really well done. I know, Penny. As you see, I picked up a reading companion. This is Sky Admiral Foxy Pennywhistle, and she loves to hang out, especially since T'Challa, for some reason, is not in here. She's in the other room sleeping. So Penny is taking advantage of T'Challa's absence. This is normally T'Challa's chair, but she's not here right now. Hello, it is Wednesday, and we look a little different today because I got a webcam. I'm trying to set it up. This is a little preview for the new year. I do want to start doing reading sprints and some other stuff live at some point. Please forgive the background. It's a hot mess. I'm playing StreamYard and trying to figure out how this works. This is the free version, so a lot of the stuff is behind a paywall, but we're just getting ourselves acclimated. Anyway, let's go to the die roll. 3. Okay, it's a little weird too. I'm getting used to the camera being up here, but like I can see myself here. It's a little weird. It's just things we're gonna have to get used to. Anyway, 3 hours today. We'll set our timer. Oops. Nope. Set our timer for 3 hours here. Which is appropriate. 3 hours in Paris. I read some more of this last night. I'm on page 97. This escalated quickly. Not surprising. So we're following Kate. She's got she is now trying to escape Paris. She's following the plan that the British spy organization set up for her. So go to one location, get the information for the next location. The idea is to protect the people along the way so that the entire structure can't be compromised. So a lot of standard spy stuff, which is fun. We've already had some things that I would consider spoilers, so I'm not going to share them. I will just say I was shocked. Probably should have seen it coming, but I didn't. Go figure. Whatever. I'm along for the ride. It's a lot of fun. And as I mentioned last night, it's the antagonist Gunther who is trying to find Kate, and who's trying to find the assassin. He doesn't know who it is yet. He is constantly stopped at every turn, not so much by the British, a little bit, but primarily by his coworkers. And, that's relatable. Apologies to any of my coworkers who might be watching. But I think we've all been there where you're just trying to get your job done, and then something gets in the way, like someone who is trying to grab attention or wants to have the glory for themselves. And so that's what Gunther's running into. Everyone's trying to vie for power. There's a whole lot of intrigue happening behind the scenes in the Nazi regime, understandably. And so Gunther is I just want to do my job and not be arrested or executed for failure. Can we do that? And so so that's been interesting to watch. Again, still not rooting for Gunther because obviously he's the bad guy, but I can feel his pain a little bit. This is a fun book. I'm really, really enjoying it. And I'll report back later. Hello, we're back, and we have a rare double void sighting. This is Baroness T'Challa von Schnoodle, and this is Lionel Fairchild, 2nd Earl of Lovegood. I love you, Lionel. Lionel was taking a little nap. What the heck? Pardon my hair, it's not greasy. I just got out of the shower and I find a braid. It's the best way to keep water from flying everywhere. It is Thursday, and yesterday, reading-wise, did not go great. I was supposed to read 3 hours. I read one. Well, I timed one. I read a little bit more, but I didn't turn the timer on. Look, yesterday's a wash. On an ordinary week, I would probably try to make up that time, throughout the next couple of days. But we're just gonna give ourselves a clean slate. It's been a tough week for a lot of people. And so we're just gonna let it go. It's a new day. So let's do the die roll. 2 hours. Set my timer for 2 hours. We're gonna try again. I think I can do this. I'm still reading 3 Hours in Paris. I am almost halfway. The Goodreads calculation was like 46 or 47%. I'm just at the beginning of part 3. I think there might be 5 parts. I know, I woke everyone from their naps. My poor little napping void kitties. This book is so good. I'm really glad that I picked this up. I haven't fully given up on Hood. I read another chapter. We were introduced to Friar Tuck. I'm gonna finish this first because I'm enjoying this more, and it just feels kind of relevant this week. What can I say? But I haven't talked about Kate in a minute here. So Kate is on the run, and she is following the procedure that she has been given by her handlers in the British government, trying to get out of Paris. So go to this location, pick up the information for the next location, and continue on. And against all odds, she is still going. She is still running. She's still in Paris. And I really appreciate that this edition of the book includes a map, because it doesn't have every single location in the book on it, but as you can see, it's got a number of the key ones. And she's kind of like, some of them are in the crease, so it's a little bit tough to follow, but she's largely just kind of hanging out in this general area, and she's sort of going in circles, which sucks, but it's also really fast paced. And this is a book that's forcing me to pay attention to the date and timestamps that are at the beginning of every chapter. And that's something I was reflecting on as well, because I've of course read many books that have, that put the date and time at the beginning of the chapter. They're like really, really clear, not just thrillers, but other types of books as well. And my brain just does not remember dates very well. I've always been like that. I don't know why. It's just something my brain just does not hold on to. And so often in a lot of books, like, it doesn't matter to know if you know the exact date and time that something's happening. If you care about that and you want to follow it, and of course I expect the author to be keeping track of that, but has it been 3 hours or 4 hours? Most of the time doesn't matter. In very specific instances it does, and then the author typically makes sure, I'm losing my tabs here, and then the author typically makes sure that you are really paying attention. But this one is like, it really, really matters. And a lot of the chapters are pretty short, but I'm finding myself going back and saying, wait a minute, when did that happen? How long ago did that happen? And so that's been kind of fun too, just a different way of reading a book that has timestamps in it. But anyway, I'm really glad I picked this up. I'm really excited about it. Enjoying it a lot. And even just like yesterday in particular, and I think I'll run into something similar probably today, when I have been less inclined to read or to focus on reading. I have found, like, all right, I'll just read a chapter because the chapters are really short, and then I find myself reading 20 or 30 pages. And so so this book is definitely continues to pull me through. It's pretty well written. The author does have a style that annoys me a little bit. I think that she overuses fragments, and I understand why she's doing it. She's trying to keep the action going. She's trying to keep the pace moving. So like, I see why she's doing it. It just personally annoys me. Other than that though, like, it's a fun book to read. I like also that, of course, the book is in English. I'm sure it's been translated, but my copy is in English because that's the language that I read. But there are also bits of French and German in there too, like little sentence fragments little sentences here and there. But what I like about it is that the author is not talking down to you. She's not assuming that you need a translation. And it's like a sentence or like a bit of flavor, a greeting, or the beginning of a conversation. So that she's indicating, oh, they're talking in French here, they're talking in German here. So you can watch that shift. And it's not enough that if you couldn't understand the words that you'd like lose track of the plot entirely. She's treating the reader like an intelligent person with access to the internet. So if you don't know what the words mean, you can look them up really easily. And again, it's super short. So here's an example, and apologies in advance for my pronunciations. As always, oui, monsieur. A woman's voice rang across the courtyard behind Kate. The approaching footsteps stopped. You forgot your mother-in-law's mail. It must have been the concierge she was calling. Kate kept walking. Before she turned onto the street, she heard a German accented voice behind her. Entschuldigen Sie bitte. Excusez-moi, madame. Did you see a woman? Not out of the woods yet. Kate hurried onto the street into a storm of young school children. Attention, les enfants, the teacher was saying. And so on and so forth. You get the sense of the different languages being spoken because it is German-occupied France, or German-occupied Paris specifically. And so you've got people speaking French, you've got people speaking German, you've got people speaking English. And so switching between the different languages, I feel like that was really effectively done. There are lots of different ways to indicate that characters are speaking different languages as, in books, but this is a very good one. And yeah, you're on your own. If you don't know what oui, monsieur means, you can look it up. It means, yes, sir. Just if you were wondering, or if my pronunciation is that bad, it might be. I took French many, many years ago for a little bit. I took more German more recently. Anyway, so, but anyway, it's just a really, really well done portion. Yeah, so I will continue reading. We'll keep going. We'll do our 2 hours. Today I will give you an update at some point, but I definitely see myself finishing this book by the end of the week. It's Thursday. I'm gonna do this reading vlog through Sunday, and then post it next week. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm just a little void cat. Lionel. This is Lionel. Lionel is more my husband's cat than mine. And so he normally does not hang out here when I come in. Let's see. Let's see if he'll let me pet him. Oh, okay. He did not invite me to pet him, so I'm not going to. He's not aggressive or anything. He just runs off if he thinks that someone is invading his personal space, which I can respect. Good morning. It is Friday. So before I start my work day, I thought I would do a quick check-in. I did read my full 2 hours last night, which was great. I am making amazing progress in 3 hours in Paris. If I don't finish it today, I'll probably finish it tomorrow. Still enjoying it very much. I feel like I've been a little bit repetitive because I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but I will say one thing that I've really enjoyed about this, I really like that we're getting a lot of character development. Like, I haven't talked about Kate as much, again, because I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but Kate as a character is also really interesting in that she's not a soldier, she's not a spy. She was recruited because she is good with guns, because she is a good sharpshooter. And so she's like perfect for this mission for that reason. And quite frankly, the British intelligence service is short on hands. It is, of course, incredibly dangerous to send someone behind enemy lines. Part of what Kate is running into is that there is a traitor somewhere in the network. And at this point in the book, I have found out who it is, but I'm not going to tell you. Or at least one traitor. There may be more. Who even knows? There are a lot of twists and turns in this book, which I really enjoy. There is a traitor out there feeding information to the Germans from the British messages, helping them crack codes and that kind of thing. So so Kate is dealing with that, and she's not a professional, but she is smart. She got training. It just was super, super fast. She got the spy crash course essentially. But she's really smart and adaptable, and so she takes those skills and is just managing to stay one step or maybe half a step ahead of her pursuer. And like that has been really, really fun. And we get glimpses into her background, her childhood in Oregon, her experiences, why she knows Paris so well, because when she was, that's where she met her husband. She was studying there, and she only went to Paris in the first place because she had this aunt that she stayed with in the summers, and who really encouraged her to seek out educational opportunities and that kind of thing. And so like it's a very rich story, and I've really, really been enjoying it. We'll see how it ends, but where I am right now, I think it's pretty clear that I would recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Let's do the dice roll real quick. 2 hours. The dice have been kind so far. Let's set our timer, and I will read throughout the day. Good morning. It is Saturday. The week just zipped past. So here's an update. First, last night I finished reading 3 Hours in Paris by Cara Black. This book was great. If that was not evident from my check-ins throughout the week, I really enjoyed it. It was good all the way to the end. Lots of twists and turns throughout. The ending was really satisfying. I won't tell you what the ending was, but I found the ending to be really satisfying. There is a sequel to this, which I might check out at some point. And I was looking, the author has written another series of mystery novels that looks like there are about 19 books in there. I will definitely at some point check out some of her other books. One book finished this week. I'm very excited, and I feel like this was a really good activity to get me back into reading every day, which is something that kind of dropped off in October. So yay. Now an update on Hood. I decided to DNF. I took my marker out. I couldn't get into it. And yesterday I started to edit some of the vlog footage from earlier this week so it doesn't all fall on me on Monday. And just watching myself talk about this book on Monday, watching myself read this book on Monday, I was not having a good time. I was deluding myself into thinking that it was going to turn into something that I would like. So I am DNFing. I am going to unhaul. I'm going to stick it at some point into the little free library in my neighborhood and hope that it finds somebody who will enjoy it, because I don't think it's like, trash or anything. It's not my thing. So I hope it finds somebody who loves it and has a great time with it. So let's do the dice roll for today. 6 hours. Okay, this is what happens when you roll a die with more sides. You run the risk of getting more hours. That's okay, it's the weekend. I did have a little bit of a lie-in, quick cut to footage of what I wake up to, which is Mrs. Pickles sitting on my chest, wanting to know where breakfast is. She's a sweetheart. But anyway, 6 hours. That was a lot of clicks. So I've set my timer for 6 hours. All right, so I have 2 mysterious books left. We have The Good Earth by Pearl S. Buck and Cold Sassy Tree by Olive Ann Burns. Very, very different, and of course, completely different parts of the world as well. So what I might do, I think I'm gonna read the first chapter of each and then decide which one I want to read first. Hey there, time traveling to Sunday because I filmed my check-in yesterday morning and then didn't film anything else. I did do a bunch of reading, I was supposed to read 6 hours, only did 3. That's how yesterday went. And today, honestly, kind of similar. You know, sometimes on a weekend you have this big to-do list and you got all the spoons and you get all the stuff done. It feels really good. And then some weekends you just don't have the spoons to do everything that you want to get done. And so you don't. Now, I did get some of my to-do list finished and I feel good about that. Got the critical things done. I did a fair amount of reading, but truly it wasn't as productive as I had planned. And that's okay. This is also my very first reading vlog, and I'm learning about myself and what a reading vlog on Ms. Peeper's Reading Corner might look like. So hopefully these will improve. This is not my last reading vlog. I'm going to continue doing them. But I did read about a third of The Good Earth by Pearl S. Buck, and I am really enjoying this so far. We're following a man named Wang Lung and his wife Olang. At the very beginning of the book is their wedding day, and as I mentioned before, it's set in China in the 1800s, and so this is an arranged marriage system, marriage of convenience. Wang Lung's father has organized this marriage, and Wang Lung himself is meeting his bride on the day of their marriage. Wang Lung is definitely the main character, and we're following, it's third person, but we're following from his perspective as he first speculates about what it's going to be like to have a wife, what it's going to be like to have a woman in the house. His mother died some years before, and so it's just him and his father. He's a farmer. He's looking forward to having someone take care of the house while he's out in the fields and thinking about raising a family and that kind of thing. And so it's a really interesting insight into just what it was like to live in that time period. So this is, of course, a very misogynistic society, given the place and time. Wang Lung wants to be presentable for his wife. He is nervous about meeting her, but then he's also ashamed about wanting her to like him. It's not done for a man to care whether his wife will like him. She should care about whether he likes her. And that is as the societal structure goes. And so he's kind of endearing in that way, that he is in fact quite nervous. But anyway, they start on this relationship, and it is very much a business relationship. She does not talk very much, but she does the work around the house expected. She starts bearing him children. And where I am right now in the book, their fortunes have turned. And so their life is changing very significantly. I don't want to give spoilers. I have a feeling this is going to be a little bit of a roller coaster of how their life goes. That's just my prediction based on where we are so far. But it's a really richly drawn story. But I'm really enjoying this. It's definitely not an uplifting read, but I wasn't expecting it to be. So I'm definitely going to continue to read this. We're going to go all the way through. I'm not going to finish it in this vlog because this is my wrap up for the vlog, but I will finish it, and I'll have a future video on this book. I also started Cold Sassy Tree by Olive Ann Burns. I literally just started. I read about 10 pages. I think I said yesterday I was going to read one chapter each of these and then decide which one I was going to continue first, and The Good Earth won. but I'm not giving up on Cold Sassy Tree. It's a very different sort of book. So this follows a family in Georgia in the early 1900s, and the narrator is a 14-year-old boy whose grandfather is widowed recently and has just announced that he's going to get married again. And the woman he's going to marry is a lot younger than him, and she's also from the north. I think this will be an interesting book. The only thing, the way that the accents are written out in this book is kind of irritating me. And I have different opinions about when accents are written out by an author. Sometimes it can be really effective, and sometimes it can be really distracting. It's a southern US accent from the state of Georgia. I'm not super familiar with the Georgian accent. Maybe I should see if I can find some clips of it so I can cement it in my head. That might help, actually, now that I'm thinking about that. So the whole book is written in that accent, and it's not flowing in my brain very well. But I will continue to read this. I think I'm going to probably finish The Good Earth first and then read this. And then I will be caught up on my mysterious books. I've got one more for December that I have not unwrapped yet. I'm thinking about my video schedule for November, because with the holiday, with Thanksgiving, the American Thanksgiving is at the end of November. You know what? Let's open it. And yes, I used to be the kid who could not wait to open presents on birthdays and Christmas. Let's do this. December. Okay. Oh, there's a sticker over the title. It is called Sarah's Key by Tatiana de Rosnay. Let's see. Never heard of this. Paris, July 1942. We just read a book from Paris. 3 Hours in Paris is set in Paris 2 years before this. So here we go. Paris, July 1942. Sarah, a 10-year-old girl, is taken with her parents by the French police as they go door to door arresting Jewish families in the middle of the night. Desperate to protect her younger brother, Sarah locks him in a bedroom cupboard, their secret hiding place, and promises to come back for him as soon as they are released. 60 years later, Sarah's story intertwines with that of Julia Jarmond, an American journalist investigating the roundup. In her research, Julia stumbles onto a trail of secrets that link her to Sarah and to questions about her own romantic future. Interesting. Okay, so this is a completely different take on the same time period, a slightly different part of the same time period. I'm not familiar with this book at all. I'm not familiar with this author at all. Well, okay, we'll give this one a go. I'm going to read these two first. We keep it more or less in order, and I will report back on all three of these. And I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you for coming along this vlog journey with me. It has been interesting. It has been certainly instructive for me on what to do and not to do in a vlog. We're playing around with different styles here of video making, so thank you for bearing with me on that. So let me know if you've read any of the books that we've talked about in this vlog. Hood, 3 Hours in Paris, Cold Sassy Tree, The Good Earth, and Sarah's Key. Any or all of those, I'd love to know what you thought of them. And either way, I will see you in the next one.